Today is a really exciting day because we are working on this 2025 Mercedes CLE53. The interesting thing about this Mercedes is it has a matte paint job, so caring for the paint is a lot different than a regular car. You have to be a lot more delicate because you have zero margin for error. Of course, you can't polish a matte paint job like you could with a regular glossy paint job. So we're going to go through the steps for prepping a new car, cleaning matte paint, and then applying protection in the form of a ceramic coating. It's a little bit different than a regular coating, so we'll walk you through the steps for that. And then at the end, we'll show you the after results and get this thing cleaned up for the owner. This Mercedes, while being brand new, had been driven about 100 miles in the snowy weather. Therefore, it needed a thorough wash to remove the salt. As normal, I start with the wheels, but in this case, I didn't need any wheel cleaner. These wheels had practically no brake dust, so a gentle, pH-neutral paint-safe soap was more than enough. I then thoroughly soaked the paint to carry away the salt, pressure rinsed, and then refoamed the car with a pH-neutral soap in preparation for a contact wash. Okay, so now we're starting the wash process, and we use a method where instead of using the 2-bucket method, which is pretty common, but on a car like this that is super delicate, the only one in the country, we added a little bit of a twist. So this is the back window, this is the hood, and the back window is glass, so it's very hard, nearly impossible to scratch with a towel. So the first step is to clean the windows while the paint is soaking. So now that the back window's been cleaned, we take one of these very plush microfiber towels and we want to fold it into 4s and swipe once. Now the reason why we clean the back window first is because it gives us a safe starting point. So we can then swipe and roll. So we're constantly exposing the paint to new clean fibers, right? And then we swipe and roll. And by cleaning the window, we're giving us a clean starting point because this hypothetically is dirty. This area has not been cleaned yet. So if we were to just set this towel down here and start from the middle of a painted dirty surface, we're going to be dragging dirt across the paint. Once all 4 sides are dirty and you've rotated it, put it into the discard pile to be washed later. So just to recap and show you one more example of this method, I started by cleaning the windows. Then I can work from the windows down onto the paint using the windows as a clean starting point so that my towel can roll without having any contamination in it. So now this has been cleaned. And once this is cleaned, you can then work starting from this section down to this section, rolling the towel. When we do this, we are going overboard on suds because soap is super cheap, so you can never use too much. And we are not using any pressure, just enough to keep the towel from falling. We're not actually pushing down, we're really pushing the dirt off the car rather than grinding into the paint. If this method seems excessive or overkill, keep in mind that this is a 6-figure car that cannot be polished and is the only one in the country at the time of filming. Therefore, even a tiny micro scratch would be unfixable. After this delicate wash process, the paint was still pristine, proving that the extra efforts were well worth it. After your contact wash, you give the paint an exceptionally thorough rinse, dry the car carefully, and blow out the seams with compressed air if you have it. Before you start spraying, always point it away from the car and then twist in. That way, in the off chance that this is not secured properly and it goes flying, if it's not aimed toward the car, it's going to fly out. It's never happened in all my career. It's just a good practice, and I would recommend that you just get in the habit and you'll start doing it without even thinking about it. The car is clean, the car is prepped, and the seams are blown out with compressed air, which is really important because you don't want drips. All of the tips in this video are compatible with pretty much any ceramic coating. Make sure you read the manufacturer instructions on your specific coating that you're using before you get started. First thing you want to do is make sure that your microfiber towels are clean. I know it sounds obvious, but sometimes even after a wash cycle, you can get maybe a piece of grit in there and you just want to visually inspect it. The important thing that you have to remember when applying a ceramic coating to a matte paint is there are no do-overs, because on a normal car, if you miss a buff-off spot or a spot doesn't cure properly, you can Worst comes to worst, you can polish the whole panel, take off the coating in about 5 minutes, and start fresh again. If you polish a matte car, you're gonna turn it shiny. The trick here is to really take your time and do it right. First off, you wanna work smaller areas than you would on a normal glossy car, for example, because there is so much risk involved. You wanna shrink your area down, and we're gonna check our work more often. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna work literally just this much. And we're going to use this cut line as an indicator of when to stop, and we're going to use this mirror, the edge of this mirror, as another visual indicator of where to stop. The key to getting a good result is doing smooth, even coverage. Take your time to make sure that every pore of the paint is coated, and work in a crosshatch pattern, overlapping each stroke by 50%. For every single application section, inspect your applicator pad to ensure it's clean before it touches the paint. A piece of grit falling onto your applicator could be game over on a car like this. Oh, and I should mention as well, the car has already been wiped down with a prep spray. I used the Rupus Reveal, the yellow bottle. You want to make sure that everything gets coated very smooth. The smoother you are, the better the job will come out. So you take your microfiber that's clean, you inspected it, fold it into fours, and then you very lightly buff to get up this moisture. Now this particular coating you buff off instantly. You might have one that says wait 1 to 3 minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes. So check with the manufacturer before you. So we're gonna flip it again to another clean side, and we're gonna start again. Make sure you overlap with areas that you've already done. So I did this whole panel before. I made sure that the ceramic coating went about 1/4 of an inch over. And you can even go more than 1/4 of an inch. But you just wanna make sure that every inch that you're trying to coat gets some ceramic coating on there. Okay, so now that it's been buffed off, now it's time to inspect. So take your paint inspection light, put it on the brightest settings, and you wanna hold it at a 45-degree angle. Same as if you were trying to look at scratches on your car's paint. And what I like to do is just move constantly and make sure you don't see anything inconsistent. And then the next little trick to this is you just want to keep changing the angle that you're looking at the paint. It looks a little ridiculous, but it does help. So you want to look at it from above. While the north, south, east, west inspection pattern is not absolutely necessary, it's an easy pattern to remember, and it forces you to check your work from multiple angles. Sometimes streaks can look invisible from eye level, but very noticeable from other angles, so be sure to move your head constantly. Once the coating looks good, leave it alone. It can be tempting to keep wiping the paint because it's smooth and coated, but once the paint looks good, stop touching it and let it cure properly. So the trick is make sure you have clear lines on the car so that you can remember the sections you've done, because it can be very easy to get tunnel vision and forget. So for example, we used this as a marker, so I know that this invisible line is where the coating starts. Here's a little bonus tip too. After your towels get all soiled, meaning full of ceramic coating residue, if you just put them in like a dirty pile, they will harden as the ceramic coating cures, and they will become unusable in the future. So I've got a bucket of water with a couple ounces of microfiber detergent, and you just want to chuck it in there and let it soak until you put it right into the washing machine at the end of the day. Every now and then you got to stir it around like your Charlie Bucket's mother with her laundry soup. And you just want to make sure that the towels are coated in water so that they don't dry and harden. It just helps you save money on towels. Well, the car is done and it looks phenomenal. I'm really pleased with this end result, and during the edit I realized that I might have made this process seem very scary. However, you just need to stick to the key points in this video and it will come out well. The key rules are: wash the car with maximum lubrication, utilizing the methods shown in this video if possible. Work smaller sections, overlapping passes, and have some sort of mental marker of where you've coated versus where you haven't yet coated. Be sure to inspect the car from multiple angles, frequently moving your eye level and head level. Remember that anytime you touch the paint, it's a chance for a scratch, so do this as little as possible. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'm wishing you guys good luck. Be sure to take your time and it will come out great. I know you can do it.